Look, stop next to the curb. Oh, fail. Hi there, and thanks for clicking on the video. So today we're going to be looking at misconceptions about the UK driving test. Steering and how you hold the wheel. It's commonly believed that you must always hold the wheel at 10 to 2 or quarter to 3, depending on who told you. Now, whilst this is good practice, it's not something they're looking for on the UK driving test. So if, for example, you're holding the wheel like this, they wouldn't mark you down. What they're looking for is that you're in control of the steering. So if you are holding the wheel with one hand and the car wobbles a lot, then yes, you most certainly will get marked down. Potentially even fail if the car's wobbling too much. You should be able to keep the car steady when driving. In terms of steering, people also think you must always push, pull or feed the wheel. Again, this is not essential for the UK driving test. They do not mark for this. So let's say I'm going to turn right down this side road. So what I mean by push-pull steering is this. So you're always basically having two hands on the wheel and then you're feeding it around like that. Sometimes you might have tighter turns though that might require faster steering, and sometimes push-pull isn't the best method for fast steering. So let's say we're turning right into this road and you cross your hands like that. You will not get marked down for that as long as you keep control of the car. So basically you don't oversteer or understeer. You would also not get marked down if you steered with one hand. So let's turn left here. So you would not get marked down for that as long as you kept control of the car. So you didn't oversteer or understeer. But do bear in mind, it doesn't look too great, so you want to try to avoid doing it. But if you do it by accident, don't worry about it. Just move on and you'll be fine. You're on a driving test and you're asked to turn right at the end of the road. Maybe you don't notice the one-way road signs at first, so you check your mirrors, you keep to the left side of your road, and then you get to here and you think, it's a one-way road, but I need to turn right. Do not attempt to turn right from the left lane. That would be a most definite fail. It's okay to go the other way, as that's where the lane goes, from the left side of the road and the left lane, so I need to turn left. They would not fail you for that. They would not even mark it down, as you've done nothing wrong. The way I like to think about it is one of the examiner's role is to act as a navigator. Your role is to drive safely. So just drive safely and let the examiner reroute you. The only exception would be if you tried to turn onto a motorway. The examiner would step in and steer you away and then fail you for trying to go onto a motorway. You'll get marked down if you don't signal when pulling up on the left. So now here, there's no one behind me, and it's all clear ahead. There is a pedestrian right there, but he's walking away from me, so he doesn't even know I'm here. And I haven't signalled to pull up on the left. This would not get marked down in the UK driving test. The highway code says that when pulling up on the left, you should signal if necessary. It is not compulsory. If you signal when it's not necessary, for example, if I just signalled left when I was pulling over here and there was no one around to benefit, you would not get marked down for this either. So often the best course of action is just to signal if you're not sure. You're not going to get marked down for it. However, if you didn't signal and there was someone behind you, you most definitely will get marked down for that. Quite likely would fail for that. So the examiner asks you to pull up on the left. You check your mirrors, you pop a signal on, and then you come in, you look, stop next to the curb. Oh, fail. Nope, that would not necessarily be a fail. Touching the curb is not an immediate fail in most circumstances. You would get a minor for nudging the kerb, that's true, but in terms of getting a serious fault and failing for it, it depends if it is dangerous. So for example, if you're coming in too fast, so let's say we're going over 5 miles an hour and you touch the kerb, it could become a hit. That would probably be a fail, as that could damage the tyre. Equally, if you're coming in and you touch the kerb and maybe there's a pedestrian standing on the footpath, that would probably be a fail, because that's really going to scare that pedestrian, so that could be dangerous. Or maybe if you pulled off on the left and there was a lamppost particularly near the kerb, or a fence particularly near the kerb, and by touching the kerb you almost hit the lamppost, that could be a serious fault and fail you. But just a slight nudge of the kerb at low speeds typically won't fail you. These guidelines also apply to your parking. So when, let's say, you're doing a parallel park and you back up and you misjudge where the kerb is and you just nudge it, that won't necessarily be a fail. If, however, you nudged it and then kept reversing back and went up the kerb, that would probably be a fail. Or if perhaps it was a lowered kerb, for example for a driveway, if you can see that, and you backed up and went onto the driveway, that would probably be a fail. Hill starts. When doing hill starts, lots of people get concerned about rolling back, as they think if they roll back even the tiniest bit, they'll fail their test. This is not true though. If you only roll back the slightest bit, so just maybe just that, an inch or so, and it's all clear behind you, there's no real danger, so you wouldn't really fail for that. You'll probably get a minor for it, but you won't necessarily fail for it. If, however, you rolled back, let's say that far, that would probably be a fail. If you rolled back and there's a car incredibly close behind you, that would probably be a fail. So it depends on the situation. So we've got a red traffic light coming up, so when we stop, what must we do? We must put the handbrake on and go into neutral, otherwise we'll get marked down for this in our UK driving test. As you might guess, it is not essential to do handbrake and neutral when you're stopped at a red light. I myself personally do it, but I'm quite confident to get the car back in gear and release the handbrake calmly and confidently when the light changes to green. As a new driver, you might feel different. You might feel a bit rushed if it's on handbrake and neutral. If you do keep it in gear with the handbrake off, the main thing is you keep control of the car. So you must keep your foot brake pressed and you must keep the clutch down. If you start to release the foot brake and the car rolls, that will most certainly get marked down. And I hope the main thing you took from this video is things are not black and white when it comes to the marking system on the UK driving test. It very much depends on the circumstances, how you deal with it, and the examiner's discretion.